The Chargers won 22-19. Not the greatest day for Jalen Hurts. 21 of 40, 240 yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Justin Herbert, not exactly the greatest day for him either. 12 of 26, 139 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. First, gotta give credit to the Chargers. Justin Herbert played through a lot of pain, broken left hand and whatnot. Had to get surgery on it, and kudos to him for pulling out the dub. I know his stat line didn't exactly look amazing, but he made the plays he needed to, and he didn't turn the ball over a whole lot. Well, he turned it over a couple times, so two less than Jalen Hurts, which was important. But the big story of this game is the 4 interceptions for Jalen Hurts, and some of them were just flat out bad. Second quarter, 8 minutes, down 73. He just flat out threw it to Deshaun Hand, and funnily enough, Will Shipley punched it out and Hurts got it back, and he should have just fell on the ball, but he didn't, and he fumbled it, and the Chargers recover. I've been watching the NFL for more than 10 years now. I think that I've pretty much seen everything you needed to see, but a quarterback turning it over 2 times in one play, I don't think I've ever seen that before. I think that's going to go down in lore for sure. He should have just fell on the ball. If he did, you live to see another day. You potentially get 3 points. Who knows if Jake Elliott misses the kick or not, but now we'll never know. Chargers from that turnover get a field goal to go up 10-3, and guess what? Once the Eagles get the ball back, Hurts comes back and throws another interception. I don't know if that interception was a miscommunication between him and Devontae Smith, but it certainly looked bad. If a smart NFL mind says that it was a miscommunication and Devontae Smith didn't run the route that he was supposed to run, I'll buy it, but nonetheless, Hurts had his second interception of the day. End of the second quarter, though, Justin Herbert got hit as he threw and threw an interception, and the Chargers got an unnecessary roughness call. So the Eagles got good field position, but Jake Elliott missed a 48-yard field goal, which loomed large. I want to move ahead to the fourth quarter. A little under 12 minutes in the fourth. Chargers are up 16. Eagles are up 16-13. They got a little 52-yard touchdown from Saquon, so all the momentum is on their side. And Jalen Hurts, he just throws it to A.J. Brown over the middle. The ball was a little bit high, and it got picked off. Wasn't exactly an ideal throw, but it's a catch that A.J. Brown has to make. If you're the number one receiver and you've been complaining the way he's been complaining all season, you got to make that catch. And sometimes, as a wide receiver, you just got to help your quarterback out. And in that instance, he didn't help his quarterback out. Chargers come down and tie it at 16-16. And I want to move to the end of the fourth quarter where the Eagles have a chance to potentially put it away. They're down 19-16 with about 2 minutes and 27 seconds left. It's 2nd and 11. Hurts, he threw a beautiful ball to A.J. Brown in the end zone, but Brown was just not able to catch it. The defender did a pretty good job of covering him, but I still think that it's a ball that he could have catched. I mean, sure, it is a difficult catch, but nonetheless, he's a number one receiver, and he just has to make that play. And, if the Eagles go up, 23-19, I think they pretty much win that game because it didn't look like the Chargers were really any capable of getting into the end zone. But anyways, we get to overtime. Chargers, they get the ball first. They kick a field goal. So Eagles, they just need a touchdown to win. And yeah, it's a 3rd and 16 in overtime. Hurts gets it to Devontae Smith, and I'm like, okay, it's the end of the game. He's starting to turn it up now. He's just playing loose and free like we've seen him play before at the end of games. He's going to make up for his sins and his other 3 turnovers. And then Hurts throws his 4th interception trying to get it to Smith, and it was just a flat-out bad throw. And this is the 3rd, 4th straight L for the Eagles, and I don't want to go through the process of, can the Cowboys make the playoffs or not, because, I don't know, it's just at this point, and plus the Cowboys have to win out, and the Eagles have to lose a couple more games. They play Washington twice, they play the Raiders, and they play the Bills. They can certainly lose against Washington once, even if Jaden Daniels doesn't play, which he probably won't, and they have a good chance of losing against the Bills, but the Cowboys have to win out. So, I guess once we get to that point, we can talk about whether or not the Cowboys are making the playoffs. But going back to Hurts, I just can't defend him on this one. I've long blamed the coaches, thinking that they were incompetent and they're not capable of doing anything, and they haven't surrounded him with a good offensive system, and that's why he's not succeeding. And I've seen coaches make players look bad. We saw this with Jeff Fisher in the Rams when he was with Jared Goff his rookie season, and he made Jared Goff look like a horrible player. But then Sean McVay comes in, and what do you know? All of a sudden, Jared Goff starts to look pretty damn good. The coaching staff isn't elite by any means, but they're certainly competent. I mean, they did win a Super Bowl. I mean, Howie Roseman, he helped Nick Sirianni a lot by giving him a great roster, but still, like I said before, there are a lot of coaches who wouldn't have been able to win with that roster. But after listening to other people, I guess maybe there's a reason why they're running a rudimentary offense. Nick Sirianni, I'm sure he knows how to run high level concept plays. Kevin Patullo, who knows if that guy's a good offensive coordinator or not, but I'm sure he doesn't want to run rudimentary offensive play. But I guess they're doing it because they just don't trust Jalen Hurts to throw the ball like that. And as shown by Monday night, I guess maybe they have the right reason to believe that he's not capable of throwing the ball like that. And it looks like he needs a good running game and elite wide receivers to function better and a great offensive line. And, I guess it is what it is. And he's shown that if you're capable of giving him that, then he can win you a Super Bowl. Because at least in the playoffs, I mean, he's one of the more confounding players I've ever had to analyze, because in the regular season, than that 2022 season where he finished second in MVP to Patrick Mahomes, he's pretty much just been blah for the most part in the regular season. But in the playoffs, he's played really well outside of that loss to Tampa Bay. So I don't really get it. People compare him to Russ, and those comparisons make sense. But I got to say, Russ in his prime, even though he wasn't a pocket passer and he also needed to move around in the pocket like Hurts, he could make great throws down the field in tight windows, which is something that it doesn't look like Jalen Hurts is all that capable of doing, despite having elite wide receivers. Russ in Seattle never really had an elite wide receiver. I mean, DK Metcalf, I think there was one season where he might have made an All-Pro, but other than that, he really didn't have elite wide receivers. He just had the Doug Baldwins, the Tyler Lockett's, and those wide receivers of the world. Didn't have a guy like AJ Brown or Devontae Smith for the most part of his career in Seattle. So there is that. And plus, Russ has had to play with bad offensive lines and running games, and he's carried those teams to the playoffs. It doesn't seem like Jalen Hurts is doing that. I know the offensive line isn't great this year and the running game is great this year, but the Eagles have a hell of a defense, and Russ had to play with some bad defenses in Seattle. A.J. Brown, on the other hand, he's got to be better. You can't just complain and then come up that small when your team needs you. He took ownership of it, but going forward, he's just going to need to be better. And I guess in the long run, it's not going to really matter that much because he's probably going to be off this team once the season is over. There's not a chance, I imagine, that he's going to want to stick with the Eagles, and I'm sure the Eagles probably don't want him around either. I mean, they had to get a good vibes bunny in the locker room, and I'm not saying that's all AJ Brown, of course. I'm not saying that he's the sole reason why there's so many bad vibes in the Eagles locker room, but that is weird to just bring a good vibes bunny. I don't know any other winning organization that does that. That just seems weird, and it just seems like they're reaching. So I don't know. We'll see how it all works out with the Eagles. They play the Raiders this Sunday, and I'm sure that should be a get-right game because there's not a chance in hell the Raiders are going to win that game or any other game in this regular season. So we'll see how the Eagles look after that, where they kind of play stiffer competition. And I know that's crazy to say about the Commanders.